Welcome back to Limbus Company, Daily Mirror Dungeon. New update, and yep. Start on loading screen because I figure there's going to be a cutscene because it's the Dante's Notes update. I guess the traffic sucks no matter which nest we go to. We've been traveling at a snail's pace through the extreme congestion of the nest for several days now. Roja, clearly affected by this boredom, sighed and muttered. We've been through similar long periods of inactivity before, but boredom isn't something one could easily get used to. I suppose it became a part of my job to listen to the sinners complain about the slow pace of our travel. How much longer until the T-Corp immigration checkpoint? My only option is to give them a reminder of how far we are from our destination. Considering that we will be on standby for approximately a day at our next stop, and taking into account various other stops we will be making en route, our estimated time of arrival is in 3 days. It's not like we're traveling very far, but with this awful traffic, it feels way further than it really is. Gregor's right. It didn't seem like the city was that big. Yeah, I mean, because we've got like a scale. I think the map we have of has like a scale, and it's like roughly the size of like the entire Korea or something, right? The entire South Korea. I don't forget the specifics, but I think that's roughly how large it is, but kind of hard to translate because, you know, the city's a big circle, roughly. Really circle. Maybe there's something to these inevitable overly long travel times. Something I'm yet to understand. More meta joke. I guess driving around in a large bus through the narrow back streets is what's taking us such a long time. I believe that it would have been faster to march on foot. Yet what of our room and board? Are you unaware that camping out in the open is a natural part of any long march? Part of the Odyssey. Hey, Officer Otis, not everyone's been a soldier here. And, if we're unlucky, we might even run into those terrifying sweepers before the break of dawn. Ooh, sweeper of mention? Even a partial mention, their name drains all color from Sinclair's face. I remember what the sinners once told me about them. That, before the break of dawn, there are these things called sweepers that sweep up every trash in the back street. It's kind of terrifying how broad their definition of trash can be. They call that hour the night in the back streets. Or something like that, yeah, 3:13 to 3:48 or whatever it is. AM, of course. Bus is one of the few vehicles recognized by the city as a residential vehicle, which means that we remain safe from the hands of sweepers. So it counts as a residential zone, the entire bus itself, because the whole thing is sweepers can't touch residential district. So I guess if the bus counts as residential, they're immune to it. Time to sleep outside the bus in the back streets would not permit a restful sleep. Instead, one would be forced to survive the onslaught of sweepers for an hour in the early hours of dawn. Makes sense. Those sweepers do steer clear of the residential areas, after all. Yep, just stating what I've just said. For those who are unaware, it's, you know, something I mentioned in Ruina. That's their deal. And sweepers do show up in Lobcorp too, but in a very minor way, just Indigo noon. Slowly yet safe travel by vehicle, or fast yet high-risk march on foot. This is quite the strategic dilemma. I do not believe that the latter option is up for consideration of any fellow. Bus is once again consumed by commotion. And into that commotion barged in the creak of an opening door, and a familiar sigh. I understand that you all must be quite impatient, but we are precisely on schedule, so save your breath and stop complaining. Alright, so the whole thing is they gotta be there in time for the wedding, question mark, at Wuthering Heights. You know, they're on time, which it said that was on like the 20th, right, of whatever the in-game month is. I forget what the month is in-game. It's like, I mean, isn't it like October or November or something in-game? Because you can see the date in like the whenever you're looking at calendar stuff. I don't know, because it doesn't tell us the date for the Blade Lineage event yet, but I think it's like October or something. October of 984. What, 20th? Maybe 20th of November? I don't know. The timeline's still a little weird to piece together. By the looks on your faces, I would have been worrying about a mutiny if I didn't know better. Those papers in your hand. New orders from the higher-ups? Virgilius was holding what appeared to be a bundle of freshly printed paper. This wasn't the first time something like this happened. Sometimes, after communicating in his room with the higher-ups of the company, he'd bring out a few sheets of paper to bring us up to speed. Yes, a new update. Don't tell me we're going on another detour. I'll say that I'm quite done cleaning up these distorted messes. Look, we have to get to... Stop whining like a petulant child. There won't be more detours until we reach our current destination. Virgilius furrowed his brows, walked up to the front of the bus, and leaned against one of the first row chairs. He began leisurely shuffling through the documents. This is just an announcement. It says here that there will be changes to how your records of abnormalities, distortions, and peccatulae are categorized. What do you mean? Okay, I made, like, the funny, like, 30-minute long, talking thing about, the actual categorization things. What do you mean changes? I'm very curious. Huh? What, so we gotta do a bunch of paperwork? Or are they adding abnormality logs to the actual menu? Because if so, that would also be really good and a way to actually read it without relying on one website. No. Once completed, your observation logs are all digitized and shared to the upper echelons of the company. Of course, if the observation logs themselves need to be edited, there may be orders to make direct adjustments by hand. However, the categorization for each entity will be updated automatically. They are merely informing the sinners of the upcoming changes. It is nice to have someone else do the explaining for once. She is right. I presume that this has aught to do with the new types of peccatula that we have encountered before? Yes, but that isn't all. Virgilius closed his eyes warily and lightly folded the papers in his hand. He called out to the two sinners. Yi-sung, Ishmael. Okay, the two who've been, properly, realized. He was pointing at Ishmael and Yi-sung. Yeah? You have called upon my name. I'll leave it to you two model students to explain the contents of these documents. I don't feel like I'm up to the task of explaining what's on this paper to all of you. Nothing to do with their cantos, logically enough. With that, Ridge pretty much shoved the paper in Ishmael's hands before taking a seat in the front row of the bus. Did he just dump his responsibility onto us? Seems like he did, yeah. Ishmael didn't seem too happy about the sudden turn events, but still she opened the documents and began reading. I can never tell if he actually doesn't care about us or if he just naturally comes off as a cold person. What does the thing say, Ishi? Give me a sec. So, does it say anything new about the abnormalities? Looks like these documents are from the LCD. The sender address says, "Oh, LCD Distortion Detective Pearson." Oh, LCD's the department that contacted Venture Squire, is it not? Ezra, was it? I still vividly remember her chaotic, bubbly voice coming through the radio. I'm still so happy about that. It's been a couple weeks. I mean, it's only been 3 weeks, right? Yeah, I think so. So it hasn't been that long, but God, I'm so happy. The former L Corp. EA. The bus begins to fill with the familiar, hectic buzz once again. Well, if you would allow me to... Miss Ishmael? Huh? Yi-sung chimes in to help with Ishmael's explanations of the documents, but... This is exactly why I'm the only one who ever reads the guides. What is it? I can see veins starting to pop in Ishmael's fingers. At this rate, she's going to drop the documents in favor of her mace. Wait, Ishmael! I got this, calm down! I hurried over to Ishmael and practically hung onto the documents in her hands. We nearly tore the bundle of documents in half, but she quickly gave up and loosened her grip. Is it about habits of... I cannot question... I can't figure out what is going on here. Ryoshu, Otis, please keep Don Quixote and Heathcliff quiet while I take care of this. He's just being overwhelmed by the noise, I guess. Fair enough. Oh yes, this'll be fun. Without killing them or beating them up, please. Ryoshu slowly lowered Don Quixote's lance she'd picked up. Alright then, if you have any questions while Ishmael reads from the document, raise your hands to be recognized. Yi-sung, Faust, you guys don't need to raise your hands to speak, so please chime in if there are any details you can elaborate on. Understood. Ishmael really went insane over that. Very well. Roja, if anyone tries to speak out of turn, please smack them lightly in the head. If you do good, I'll make sure to order you extra desserts during our team dinner. Why wouldn't you get Merso to do this? His whole thing is... I mean, he's kind of a bad judge, that's the thing. He'll punch someone for, asking a genuine question or something. So Roja is probably the right choice here. You sure know how to motivate people, Dante. I have no clue if the whistle picked up on the mic, but it was a weak whistle anyway, so... I don't really care too much. What? What an impressive growth of leadership capabilities, executive management. Alrighty then. First bonk goes to... Oh, wait, this one's... Okay. A few minutes later. After a quick commotion, I found the situation settled enough to return the documents to Ishmael's hands. Then, I'll leave it to you. Okay. So the former E.G.O, also known as the Lobotomy Corporation, used to contain and manage the abnormalities that we have faced in their branches. Even taking into account that their strengths were suppressed by the golden bows, there was a pretty significant difference between their risk level categorization and the actual risk involved in facing them. Oh, so we're getting something on top of, the classic Zayn, Teth, He, Vav, Aleph. We're getting a new thing on top of that? Ooh, got me interested. I love observation, logs. I love this kind of type of thing. They have observation codes. Other employees in the higher-ups of Limbus Company also apparently felt that something was familiar yet off. And that's why they investigated this issue through the LCD of the department. So far, there have been 5 categories of risk levels. 5? Aren't there only 4 of them? We just haven't seen Aleph do that, Heathcliff. You should know that we haven't seen the worst yet. Bonk. Roja punched Heathcliff to the crown of his head, and he promptly slumped to the ground, out cold. Maybe it was the suddenness of the attack that did it? You didn't kill him, did you? Nah, I'll be fine. It's Heath. It's not like I smacked him that hard. Sinclair quietly raised his hand. Alright, you can go ahead. Ishmael nodded at Sinclair. Well, I thought there were only 4 risk levels. Zayn, Teth, He, and Vav. Just like Heathcliff said. They're the only ones we've seen so far, yeah. But according to these documents, the higher risk level category is labeled Aleph. Also, funny thing, but we've only seen a single actually Zayn abnormality, because it's only been Blubbering Toad. I think the Pekatule are Zayn or something, right? I think they probably count as Zayn. But Blubbering Toad's the only actual Zayn abno we've seen. Like I said earlier, there's a pretty significant disparity between their categorization standards and our experience with them in the field. Which is why they're apparently planning to make overhauls to those standards, by Limbus Company standards. Go ahead, Merceau. I must inquire what exactly this overhaul entails. Does this mean that the abnormalities will be recategorized within the pre-existing framework of categorization, or will additional risk level categories be created? It doesn't elaborate that far, but it says here that Lobotomy Corporation used each abnormality's enkephalin production capability to categorize them into different risk levels. Yeah, and that was danger level, basically. How much enkephalin they produce is how much enkephalin they gave. But there were some weird oddities, kind of like how Welcheers and Fairy Fountain were capable of killing much more than the average Teth, despite being Zayn. But they didn't produce a lot of energy, so Zayn it is. Abnormalities with more complicated, difficult management conditions apparently produce more enkephalin. I guess the more complicated an abnormality is, the harder they are to fight. That does line up with our own experiences. Sort of. Also, interesting how they're not capitalizing enkephalin. I think that's the first time they haven't in the series, but I might be wrong. Usually it's capitalized. I don't know, it might just be a minor oversight. I don't think I should take it too seriously. But it can hardly be said that it's flawless. Looks to me like they're trying to make these risk levels better reflect our own field experiences, which doesn't rule out the possibility of them adding more tiers to the pre-existing ones. More in between or more after? For we conduct not management with combat against these foes, it is sensible that the standards for risk levels be adjusted in accordance to... Roja, wait! Isan can sneak without raising his hand! Oh, right. My bad. I managed to stop Roja just before her fist connected with Yisong's crown. It was almost as if she was moving based on pure instinct. So that's why they're overhauling the risk levels based on the actual risk each abnormality poses in battle. So we'll do well to be wary of the possible changes to the risk levels written in the observation log. Oh, and they'll let us know again once the precise details are decided. The next section is about distortions, which... Oh! Don Quixote raised her hand. But Ishmael continued to explain without coming to a stop. He probably just ignored her. So far, we've been using the same subject classification codes as abnormalities for distortions, but it's gotten pretty clear that there is a big difference between them, enough to give these two groups distinct classification codes, that difference being... Honglu raised his hand, and Ishmael nodded. Don Quixote apparently a bit crestfallen. The difference is that, when defeated, abnormalities transform into their egg-like forms, but distortions don't. Am I right? Correct. Distortions can be completely subdued simply by defeating them in battle, but any method of fully slaying an abnormality is yet to be discovered, even in theory. Maybe. So, in the actual Canto 4 dungeon, there's a cracked Abno egg, and you steal the gem from it. I feel like they killed an Abno or something. I'm not fully sure. It was in the Fathoms, so, you can't rule it as being completely, true to what happened, but there is a cracked egg that just the gem was stolen. Maybe a new egg grows eventually or something from that gem. Who can say? So she says, well, we've all had first-hand experience against them, so it shouldn't be too hard to understand. Whew, here comes the last subject. This one's about the Pecatulae. They're going to give them a classification code scheme different from the abnormalities as well, including the new type of Pecatula we recently encountered. Let's see, classification basis, abnormalities and distortions both have elements of uniqueness that is missing in each individual Pecatula. Considering this, it has been deemed... Okay, I don't really get what this is talking about. Faust walked up next to Ishmael and began to explain. Uniqueness in this context refers to the fact that no same entity exhibits the same location. It would be helpful to recall that our encounters with the Pecatula have always been against multiple duplicates of the same category of Pecatulum. However, no such encounter have been made against distortions and abnormalities. Hopefully this has been a sufficient explanation for all. Right, so simply put, we can just toss them Pecatulae all into the same bin, but each and every one of them abnormalities and distortions is special and unique, eh? They could have explained it much easier if they just... Bonk. You can seem to have woken up from his coma, but... I'll be looking forward to that extra dessert. His moment of lucidity barely lasted a moment. And that's all there is to it. This is pretty great, huh? It's refreshing doing something like this once in a while. Oh! Don Quixote has not lowered her hand since Ishmael ignored her the first time. Not even for a brief moment. So rude to Don. She's not going to necessarily say utter nonsense. She's not that stupid. That's for sure. Fine, ask away. Dost thou know the name of the LCD employee who has composed that report? Ishmael seems a bit taken aback that Don Quixote actually managed to ask a rather sensible question, even though it was asked with that very same enthusiasm she has when talking about fixers, that is. Well, firstly, they all take Dawn for a fool. She's not a fool. She's just hopelessly optimistic, which is a good quality to see, I think, in a person, even if it is fake. Secondly, Ezra's a grade 2 fixer, if I'm not mistaken, so, fair enough to be excited. That's pretty high. Oh, sure. Give me a sec. Sender, LCD on-site investigative reasoning team leader, Moses. Yeah, there she is mentioned by name. We already knew she was, because I think Ezra said something about the detective being there. Did she mention Moses by name? I don't think she did. Well, we might as well keep that name in mind, since we'll probably run into them sooner or later. I'm sorry for ignoring you, Don Quixote. Though Don Quixote was finally given the answer she so passionately craved, she did not appear happy or excited about it. Instead, she seemed to be absorbed in deep thought. Something wrong, Don Quixote? I recall hearing that name in the past, yet I cannot quite recall as to who that name may have belonged to. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Dawn knew of the Distortion Detective to some degree. Feels like the kind of thing she'd follow. It's an office that has, a grade 5, a grade 2, grade 1? Was Vespa 1 or he might have been 2 as well. I forget the specifics. It's been a while. Either that or, scarily enough, Moses did kill 2,000 something people in the war, so she might be known for being, a war veteran to some degree, but I don't think Dawn focuses on that too much. Okay, now we were actually done. Are we gonna get Distortion Detective stuff in Canto 7 since it's Dawn's Canto? Is she gonna know of Moses somehow for some reason? I don't know, there's still so much we don't know about the Distortion Detective team. We still don't know how Vespa's doing. We don't know if he's, part of the team or if he's, gotten his job back in N-Corp, since that was the original promise. He was going to work for Diaz in order to get his job back, since he was, trapped in Uria's atelier for like 30 days, ate Moses' arm, that sort of stuff. And we also don't know how Uria's doing, because last we saw of her, she was like, her soul was trapped in a tiny teddy bear, and she was like dying a little bit. Like, she was kind of losing, like, connection with her soul in the teddy bear or something. I don't know, she was like fading away. But enough of that. Darn, thought I'd be able to collect a bit more dessert. This was more time-consuming than it was initially expected. Dante, now... Oh, right, it's about time. Alright then, I hereby confirm today's close of business for the sinners. This could have dragged on for much longer, but the sinners were thankfully pretty cooperative, so we managed to finish our day early. Followed the sinners to the back door of the bus, my heart a little lighter than it was at the start of the day. Huh. Feel like I'm forgetting something. It took me about 30 minutes to realize that we left Heathcliff out cold on the bus floor. God. Poor Heathcliff, and of course it plays Oh Crab, So Crab, since it's, the funny music. It has been 20 minutes. Well, that was a very interesting dialogue, fair enough. Get my 300 lunacy. I wonder if we're gonna see that immediately. Right? Like, if we pull up, like, an Abno just immediately, will it show up? Oh, there's the Thorns Gregor. Hold some stuff. Let's see. What else are they doing? Oh, right. Before we get into that, we can see uptide levels now, right? What? Wasn't that a thing? Am I missing something? Is there a new tutorial thing for it, maybe? No. There's something where you could, like, see other uptides, right? Or does that only... I don't know. Maybe that's only a dispenser. What if we pull up the dispenser? Can we see it there? Come to the Season 3 E.G.O, yeah. Yeah, we can do it here. Why can't you do it for IDs you own? What? I was really excited to be able to do that for IDs I owned, so I could actually see what they... Okay, that's fine. I misinterpreted that. What? Gregor was off-put there, and I don't know why. He was, like, off-center. Yeah, cool stuff. Garden of Thorns Gregor. And before we get into that, Dante's notes. We're getting these again for the next 2 weeks. Abnormalities, risk levels. I'm just gonna skim through to see, the normal stuff. Many other times when they're already rated, abnormalities are rated before we submitted them. Maybe they're checking these pretty frequently. Okay, nothing too notable today. That's fine. I know people can, like, check the files and just see all of them beforehand, but that's lame. I like getting them a little bit each day. Well, no better time than now. We're gonna do daily extraction, see if I get lucky to get the Gregor. I've probably got, like, a 5% chance to get it from dailies, since it's, like, 1.3 per. So maybe I'll get it from these 4 dailies, which would be nice. It would be 400 less Gregor shards to spend, but either way, we're gonna be getting the E.G.O. I've got enough stuff to max it out already, that sort of thing. Oh, Gregor shards. That's lucky to get. Okay. Nothing too special. And finally, the actual target banner, which, like, isn't really worth pulling on, because pulling for E.G.O.s is stupid. Okay. Nothing special, then. Well, that just means pull out the boxes. Quick 200 boxes on Gregor. Hurts to use, but that's fine. These are running. I've got more shards already because I made sure I had enough to instantly upside to max. And say I brought you a gift. Aha, take this instead. There it is. Cool to get something for the Sign of Roses. Makes sense. We're definitely going to get a Spiral Contempt thing for Rodion sometime in the future, but this is nice. Sure. Oh, yep, new quotes. Whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. Don't want to set as my profile picture. The warped on is too iconic. Don't try to untangle these thorns. Brambles. Okay. That's close enough. Yeah, so let's take a look. Garden of Thorns. Another Vav. Nice to see. We pull up the E.G.Os, and yeah, 3 Vavs now. Of course, 4 target on default, but it can become more attack weight with resonance. At 3+ resonance. I'm just gonna max this out first and foremost, and then I'm gonna look at what it does, because I'm gonna max it out no matter what. You probably need to max it out to get the 7 target potential. Yeah, right now it's got a max of 6. And if we do this, it'll become max... Yeah. Ice resonance divided by 2 attack weight, max 3. So if you have 5 resonance, you can get this to become a 7 target. Cool. Yeah, let's take a look, because we've got an idea of what it does, but the numbers kind of matter a lot. 30 sanity cost to be expected, a little bit less than the other two, since the other two are 35, but this also doesn't have any SP restore mechanic. It's 2 of everything. Oh boy. I think people are making jokes about, like, oh yeah, it's going to cost 1 of everything. 2 of everything. That is pricey. It's a 30 roll. Let's see your offense level. Interesting stuff. 22%. That's an odd number. So, mass weighted highest resonance divided by 2 attack weight, max 3, so if you get a 5 resonant. I think this E.G.O's probably going to be focused on getting a 5 resonance, right? Because if you get a 5 resonance, you can do it on any team, because you just got to get 5 in a row, and then Gregor being fastest or slowest or something with the lust, so it works with non-lust teams. In 1 corresponding sin damage up, and 1 corresponding sin power up to 4 plus number of high resonance allies. Okay. Does it, like, double up? Like, if you have, like, say, like, a 6 resonance, does that mean, it hits 10 allies, so it hits, first, it hits all of them once, and then 4 of them, like, an additional time? Doesn't specify. I don't think so, though. That means it'll hit everyone almost certainly, though. At 4 plus resonance, 5 plus resonance, you need 6 plus absolute resonance to make the above effects by next turn as well. Okay. And of course, Steel 4 has the lowest HP for 22% of their max HP. Heal number of highest resonance divided by 2 more allies, max 3. Okay, so you can heal 7 allies with this? Can it hit the same person twice? I guess it can. That seems really good for healing, yeah. This is a super pricey E.G.O, though. It is a 14 cost. Infective Lust, Fatal to Wrath, Fatal to Gluttony, Resistant to Pride, Resistant to Envy. I mean, good resistances, that's for sure. Yeah. Not much else to say on that. Seems... Oh, wait, the corrosion! I forgot to check the other part of this. I was so focused on that. 30 minus 10, so it's the same roll, roughly, just negative. Attack weight, the thing is deal. Damage down, bind, fragility and power down for the standard with highest resonance count. Similar type thing. It just focuses on fragility and power down instead of damage up and power up. Okay, cool enough. And then the passive is just Rupture. You're not going to want this on a Rupture team, because Rupture teams can get Gluttony Resonance off and get decent benefits from it. Think stuff like, Talisman Sinclair passive. Not that worthwhile, though. There's not that much reason to do it. Yeah. Now, luckily for me, don't need to do a cut here, because I've prepared the team beforehand. We're going to be running these 6, because not only do they all have, like, at least a decent lust skill barring Gregor, they all have a lust E.G.O, or 2 for your case. So no matter what, we should be able to get the full lust resonance off, and we're going to see how well this goes. It's only mirrored on the 3 normal, because I did mirror on the 3 hard yesterday, but it works well enough, right? Okay. Oh yeah, we started with Fiery Downs, Lust inflicts burn, it's something, I guess. It synergizes, but the main thing is I started the commemorative coin so we can double up on the Gregor E.G.O. Hopefully, we can get, Coffee and Grains. I would have reset for Coffee and Grains specifically and would have accepted nothing else had I realized that's how it was going to work. We also don't want you to get the speed slot first. I think we want to do people who can get, the lust pretty consistently, right? Something like this is probably our order. Because we don't want you having multiple skill sets, we want that lust resonance. Yeah, as far as the team composition, those... Oh god, what did I hit? Okay, I hit a button on OBS Max. I don't think it changed anything on your side. I think it was just a visual thing for me. We can do it immediately. We do start with enough stuff to immediately do it. That is true. I will wait at least a turn, though, right? How are we doing on Sin Affinities in general? Is there anything we're really low on? Don't really have a lot of Gloom. I think your skill 2 is the only Gloom we have. Only 2 skill 3s for Pride. Oh no, your skill 3 is also Gloom, that's right. Is there anything we're missing? Not a lot of Gluttony. You've got a skill 1 for Gluttony. You have a decent Sin Affinities if you're trying to get a little bit of everything. The fact that it actually is a little bit of everything is insane. I think I saw at least one person making the joke that it'd be 1 of everything, but 2 of everything is a lot. I think this is a VOD E.G.O you are never going to be using outside of Mirror Dungeons, right? Not only is building up in normal fights impossible, it's something like a Railway. It's probably far too situationally worth it. I mean, you still want to equip it, of course. It does also mean that if Gregor, you know, corrodes, really funny stuff happens. Which is funny to think about, right? Although he's unlikely to corrode, he doesn't have any negative sanity IDs, of course. I don't know why I say, like, it should be some sort of shock, or any IDs that really lose a lot of sanity in general. But, like, who knows, maybe the strategy... I mean, it's just a target randomly on corrosion, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's not the corrosion, god. I'm so bad at the menu still. Yeah, targets randomly. We'll just do more random stuff this turn. Should probably focus on the resources we need more of, but it shouldn't make too big of a difference, right? What was I about to say? I don't know, yeah. You could, like, spam ADD or something just to get his sanity down, just to corrode him if you didn't really want to spend the resources for it naturally. Okay, we've got at least 2 of every sin affinity. That's not bad, then. That's not bad. Sure, we could really benefit from more of certain ones. Like, you know, Gloom and Pride seem to be, like, the real bottlenecks so far. Just looking at, you know, the resources we have already. Those are the ones we only have 3 of. Well, like, we should be able to do a decent bit of that. Gloom, we've got 3 in total. Pride, we've got 2 in total. Everything else we've got, like, at least 4 of, right? Something like that. I think so. Also, I do know I'm doing a team of entirely 3 stars. That's just because Lust is a fairly powerful sin affinity. There's a lot of good Lust IDs, I feel like. Or a lot of good IDs that have good Lust, skill 2s, skill 3s, skill 1s. It's just super prominent. And there hasn't been too much Lust resonance synergy beyond just, you know, either the 9-2 E.G.Os, which don't do it very well, or, like, Whistles from Faust. It's nice to have something. And there is a source of Lust fragility already, thanks to Yas and Yada from Otis. So we'll definitely try using that. The reason I have 7 Otis is not only because she's got Lust skill 3, but she's also one of the fastest units in the game, tied with 7 Yifang, if I'm not mistaken. So the chances that she is left most is fairly high. Of course, you've got haste and stuff, so you guys also might be, you know, a little bit of a hassle on that front. So that means you can get your fragility off pretty quickly, right? Now, it's only 2 fragility, not an insane amount, but still 20% more damage. And if we do that, it will mean that you're the one who triggers Maverick instead of Gregor, unless Gregor is, you know, even faster than her, which also would be a nice effect, but... We get to go to the shop now. Can we pass this? We might be able to pass this, honestly. Oh, you're a 50-50. Sure? No, darn. Would have liked to sell the Dopa robe for, like, a nice 300 cost, but that's fine. We can live without it. Zippo leather, absolutely. I'm taking Crown of Roses for the bit. Not because we particularly need it. We don't really focus on status effects a lot. We might just re-roll for more. I mean, the gadget, yeah. If you know skill 2, because that's funny. Okay, I think we wait. Actually, no, we'll do one more. Okay, yeah, we wait. Popping cranes would be nice. That's some passive gain of ego resources. It means our Gloom will not be an issue for the rest of the run. So Pride's our main issue. Wrath. Oh, your skill 1's the only Wrath we have. So we only have 3 Wrath as well. I see. Good bit of Lust, though, of course. Good bit of Envy. Use a bit of Gluttony, yeah. Use a bit of Sloth. Okay. So Pride and Wrath are the ones we need to worry about now. Shouldn't be too bad. Okay, I think we'll pop the Ego here, though. We'll also pop the Yas and Yada just so we get, you know, the full resonance going. Because that'll be real funny. These guys are neutral slash. Okay, that works well then. We get the whistles off, so that means... Anytime we lose sanity from using Egos, it'll be fixed pretty shortly after things. In fact, we'll trigger whistles pretty commonly when we're actually going kill mode, right? Here it goes. Tails, unfortunate. Super cool to see, you know, the Ego in action, though. Okay, here it goes. Spin. Circle. Didn't look that cool, but it's because the effects, I mean, it looked cool, but without the effects on head, it's just a little bit worse than it should be, right? And because we got the 6th resonance, we get the Lust effect next turn, too. How swell. Really unfortunate that you need the 6 for it to be next turn as well. Because, like, I get what it's doing, but it means it only works super well with Lust right now. Unless we get to the point where, you know, with 7 Sinners becomes the standard again in, like, Canto 7, or Canto 6, god. In Season 4, we're not going to be able to get it to its maximum potential with non-Lust in Focus encounters. which is fine, I guess. It doesn't need to. We are potentially about to see the birth of Lust meta, though. The Lust meta is going to need to be, it's going to need to have a little bit of all sin affinities as alongside it. You know, ideas that have, like, Lust skill 2s and skill 3s might not be the best for us, because a little bit of pricey E.G.O gift. Yeah, there went all of our pride. I mean, that's also because, you know, your Yasunyada's pride as well, but need to worry about that a little more. We'll get back in time. If we get, like, Black Ledger, it's more E.G.O resources. Unfortunately, because we don't have a lot of Blade Lineage Kurokuma people, we don't trigger the bonus effect of Black Ledger, aka guarantees what you have the least of if you have a certain amount of Blade Lineage Kurokuma IDs. I think you need, like, 3 of them. Which would be nice for us, but, like, it's also the Black Ledger. It is, like, what, 5 random resources a fight? It's basically just a less consistent Child in a Flask. It's also, like, we're guaranteed to get it at some point, though, as long as we keep on going for events. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. If all enemies have burn... It's like 2 burn on all enemies. I mean, it happens eventually with the Lust, but that's not great. Lust Resonance also works for Thorny Path, but, we don't really benefit from thinking too much, do we? That's fine. What do we do here? Do you want the rest stop? Probably. We might just go bottom, and like that. Yeah, okay. Looks good. Okay. You guys. We can get the Lost Resonance here. Swell. We don't want to, though. Yeah, no. I was going to, but, like, we don't need the Sandy right now, and we kind of got to focus the pride a little bit. Get more of that, right? For our own sake. Thank you, Angela. Sometimes it is that shrimple, I guess. Carry on. Still really excited to see the new package today stuff. Because are the classifications changed now? Or are they saying they're going to be changing them in the future? I don't know for sure. I also think that would have been, you know, a good, you know, time to pull up, like, with the E.G.O, we just... would have been a good time to pull up, like, the bit of being like, yo, here's, you know, an actual classification log you can use to, like, read all the observation logs for Abnos and see all the stuff in an easier menu than having to go to the actual fight itself, which makes people just check the one website that has all that information instead, right? Nice. You guys survive? No, I mean, we do have Pride still here, so we'll do this for the bit. You've also got Pride Evade, keep that in mind. If we keep on dodging with you, and you're fairly good at dodging, we could just kind of stockpile Pride like that when you don't have your skill 3 on hand. Not a bad idea, really. Just to make sure. Once again, Pride... Actually having troubles with how much Pride he had is unlikely, because chances are we will get Grand Welcome at some point, right? And that just makes Pride, like, comedically easy to maintain. Pride and Gloom are probably some of the better resources to not have enough of. There's not really a band-aid solution for Wrath, unfortunately, because, Perversion is, like, the Wrath resource gift. However, it only applies to people who already have Wrath skills, so it only applies to Ryoshu. And it would just mean if she gets a kill with her skill 1, she gets an additional Wrath, like, right? Or it's... Perversion helps everything, right? That's the thing. I mean, because whenever you get a kill, you just get 1 additional resource. But the thing is, the Wrath part of it, in case you don't remember, whenever you get a kill with a Wrath skill, you gain +1 of all of that person's sin affinities instead of just that one. Now, unfortunately, that means if we kill with Ryoshu's skill 1, that means she gets an additional Wrath, which she gets anyways from the E.G.O gift, and she also gets an additional Envy and Lust, since that's her skill 2 and skill 3, respectively. So not as easy a solution there. Bloom and Pride are the only ones that have super easy E.G.O gift solutions. Coffee and Cranes is a little bit unique too, because Coffee and Cranes benefits you for only... It gives you more resources if you have too much Lust, right? If you only go for Lust stuff, you just get more resources of the other stuff. It makes it pretty different from the others, and also fairly useful, really. Okay. What do we want to enhance here? I didn't think about that. I guess we'll get Bloody Gadget plus for more damage up to allies with lust skills, which is everyone but Gregor. And we don't really want the damage on Gregor, do we? He's more of the buffer, right? Okay, yeah, that was worth it, I think. We get an event here, something good potentially, or not perversion, prejudice. That's more healing, I guess. Could help out. Okay. Your turn. You know what? Let's do some setup, potentially. There's not really a reason to go, full funny mode immediately for this fight, right? Like, he's gonna die sooner or later. Let's just hit it with, like, a bunch of attacks and stuff. And just see how much damage we can do. Save our actual strong attacks, though. Hitting you with that, and we're hitting you with that? Will that kill? Trying to think this through. I want to make sure I kill them. Well, this guy's getting hit with the Remize and the... Let's go getting hit with these. Random Guardian, sure. Actually, you don't want to Remize, you want to do this. Actually, it doesn't matter too much, because... the thing is... Dawn's the third person we want... So, in the ideal Lust turn, we did what we did for the first floor boss, right? We use, Garden of Thorns, get all the Lust stuff going. We use Yasa and Ya to get the Lust Fragility going. And we also probably want to use Dawn's Soup just because it's a really strong Lust skill, right? It benefits for having a lot of Lust resources, which we probably will have. A lot more Lust than everything else. We'll probably drain everything else pretty heavily if we use a lot of the Crown of Thorns. Garden of Thorns. There's so many Crown of Thorns of Roses of Gardens of Signs and all that sort of stuff. Hard to keep track of them. Oh, for a second I thought Mutilate killed and I was confused, but no, it was just commemorative coin. Still good, but like... wasn't what I thought it was for a second. Another turn where we just do whatever, and then next turn is the funny turn when we get the Lust Resonance, I think. Yeah, it looks like it'll be a good time for it. Let me get the speed for it. Did I use the right skill on Gregor? Is his skill 1 or his skill 2 the one that gives him haste? Because we probably, if we also want to be optimal, we give Gregor haste, and we try to prevent Dawn from getting too much haste, right? I still don't remember which of Gregor's skills has so much haste on it. Is it the skill 2, though, or is it the skill 1? It's the skill 1, yeah. The skill 1 gives him 2 haste or something. Super nice if you want him to go fast, which you kind of do. Although Dawn's going to outspeed him, pretty safe to say. Okay, but yeah. Investigate the factory. Which means this turn we gotta do the funny thing to you. Which means Garden of Thorns time. We'll hit you guys like a little bit with some random stuff, sure. Otherwise we're killing you. And I mean it when I say we're killing you. It's very overkill, and doesn't do that much for us, but it is really funny. And I think that counts for a lot more than anything else could. We're also stacking up that appetite, which really does a lot. Just being that, like, you basically don't get kills in this fight, and we also don't even need healing in the first place, so it doesn't matter if our passive heals more. Okay, yeah, everyone gets 2 Lust damage up and power up this turn and next turn. Cool. Here's also the heads, though. Yeah, here's how it looks like when it looks really cool. Yeah, that looks awesome compared to the Tails variant. And it's going again, too, which means we get a little bit more Lust power up next turn. I have no idea what Angela's saying here. You've dealt a fatal blow to your enemies. Thank you, Angela. This one is the Tails, but it's still very funny. And this turn, we're going to get a little bit of Lust damage up in the like. Unfortunately, there's not really enemies that are damage spongy enough for this to really be warranted for, it feels like. Like, we're just gonna kill them all really brutally. A lot. You get the 4th coin on Shank, because it really makes the difference. You love the city you live in? No. Skip. You love the city you live in? No. Proceed. Skip. You love the city you live in? No. Skip. Proceed. There we go. Remize probably just demolishes this guy instantly, yeah. Have you two defend, because you're not going to do anything interesting this turn. You go for this one. You go for this one. You dodge. We're only going bothering with the Lust attacks this turn, because I think they might just do enough, right? Do you resist Lust? Maybe. You're, like, staggered, though. That's good. That thing dies to... Those guys just kind of die. That's right. Maybe we should have thought that through a little bit heavier. Okay, that's fine, though. Execute this thing. Very funny E.G.O for the Lust Resonances. It's unfortunate it doesn't seem quite as funny for the other ones, but, like... As long as Gregor is high speed... The only thing you miss out if you don't have the 6th Resonance is the, by the predicament. I'd like to take this for, the Lust thing, but I probably should just take Nebulizer, yeah. Voice is funny. So 5 Resonance gives all the buffs, but it's only for the current turn. So if Gregor is the fastest, and you're out using other sins, then it works out, right? I guess so. I don't know. Next week is probably when I'm going to be trying out, some of that type of shenanigans. Or this week I'm going to be trying out shenanigans. Tomorrow, I think the plan is that tomorrow I'm going to do Wrath and the day after is Sloth like that. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I want to do a full sweep of the sins, right? Try using, like a full sin resonance team every day of the week for the next week, and see how that goes, right? Could be interesting. That was not an appropriate attack. It was the lack of care or the lack of effort. I don't know, but I don't think the sinners are too bothered by, your cruel words, which is good. The sinners are doing their best, and that's what matters, right? I'd say so. How are we doing on resources, by the way? Pretty solid, yeah. Didn't need to worry too much about them. Now, I'm not saying that as in, like, oh yeah, that means it's time to start spamming. I mean that in the sort of way where, oh yeah, Gregor whistles there, just so we can get some sanity up Gregor. But, not in the way where we should start spam, but in the sort of way where as long as we don't go overboard, we should be set for the rest of the run without needing more focus on resources. Gregor just needs a proper haste ID. I think that's what he needs to make this thing really goated. Either that or a really slow ID. I mean like a 2 to 4 Mariachi Sinclair type speed. Even Chef Gregor is like a 2 to 6, right? Like his speed isn't like that bad. I want some bad speed. Actually, no. We don't want it to be bad speed, that's right. Because the actual benefit is on usage, right, for the damage up. Him being last is only helpful if you have the 6 resonance anyway, so it hurts press next turn. No, we just need him to be fastest. Yeah, because it's on use. Give the damage up and stuff. Can't wait for the Sloth day, though, where I get that going the same turn as I just Sun Shower up a bunch. And really start stacking the Sloth to stupid degrees. That'll be funny. A victory. Also helps that there's a lot of Lust E.G.Os in the game. Not something you think of a lot, but a lot of Sinners do just have random Lust E.G.Os, or at least an idea with a Lust defense is still, right? Okay, tomorrow's Fortune is nice, we'll take it. Come on, Milepost, not really, doesn't help that much. Doesn't actually pay for itself, even. Downpour is funny. Grey Coat is funnier, though, right? More damage, Gobur. Dawn skill? No. Yifeng skill? No. Sinclair skill? No. Heathcliff skill? No. There's Travel in a Flask, doesn't matter. We'll be fine. I think. Okay, we're gonna go for the Jun path here, by the way. Because, I'm really excited to see how it'll work. Because, like, we now have a good, solid mass attack that's, like, a slash thing. The only, like, even semi-decent, like, large slash mass attack was we don't have Yi-Sung on the team, right? Was 4th Match Flame. And there's, like, 12 asterisks there, right? Because this is 4th Match Flame Yi-Sung we're talking about. It is a 5 target, but it rolls a 20. No, it's a 4 target, isn't it? It's something like that, right? Did they make it a 4 target for the bit? They might have. I know the other 2 are 3 targets, but I think 4th Match Flame is either a 4 or a 5 target. And it's not good because it is a 12 plus 8 E.G.O, right? Not exactly great rolls, if we're being honest. Cook anything? Yes, we love cooking. Let her cook. Yeah, she's cooking. Nice.
단테님 봤어요?
Okay, thwack, thwack, thwack. Nice. Defense level for everyone this turn and next turn. Nice little effect. Doesn't make that big of a difference, but it's nice. Oh, who kills that guy? I don't know if anyone actually kills you, so we'll double up on you probably like that, yeah. Shank, you've got a lot of HP. You're a great target to be shanked, I think. H. Gripping, field command, that'll work. Could have actually gotten the Lust Resonant there if we just had one more Lust skill, but it doesn't matter that much, does it? Or not the Lust, I mean the whistles, but once again, it doesn't matter too much. When everyone's at max sanity, the only benefit you get from whistles is the 2 Fanatic on Faust, which, as always, it's a nice effect, but it's not necessary at all. It's just, you know, like a 2 power up, effectively, if the target is nails. And the target's unlikely to have too much nails to get unless it's like a boss or something. Because they'd actually need to be able to build up nails. Like, the previous turn, Faust would need to build up nails, I mean. Not exactly the most likely thing to happen, right? So that's fine. We don't need it. We kill these guys this turn, and down the Pekatula they go. Also, I have not been looking at all. Were the classifications any different? I forgot to check entirely. Or are they the same as always? I feel stupid for not checking that, but that's how it goes. Oh, slash fragility, or slash resistance down. That's nice. We're probably going for... We might go for Kim. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Anything to enhance? Nebulizer to plus for the bit? Sure. Yeah, Gen time. We're probably gonna go for the turn 1 Lust Resonance against this guy, because he doesn't counter turn 1. Turn 2 he counters, though, so we'd like to do as much damage as possible first turn. And not really a great thing for the Lust Resonance, is it? Yeah, no. Do we go into it, though? The bet? I think we do. I'm not gonna go fully into it, I don't think. Maybe something like that, actually. You know, get a lot of resonance. It's kind of like do decent damage to you, though. We've got a fair bit of these. Even fair bit of these, though. Okay, we'll go Red Eyes. Sure. Remise. I mean, we'll get the Lust power up and stuff, right? So that should be decent. Yasunyaga is also slash. Unfortunately, it's only Threadspin 3, so it's a 2 target. It's a 1 target instead of a 2 target, but that is a very minor difference. And we're not getting a 6 resonance, so it doesn't mean we get it next turn, but I kind of like that. Means Roseate Desire goes twice. I think I can live with that, though, right? Yeah, we'll do it. For the bit. See if these guys survive the next turn, really. This going twice isn't, like, the worst thing, you know, debuff enemies, that sort of thing. Nice. Especially if it's Gen, could be super good. Because, you know, it is defense level down, and 5 means, like, a decent bit. It didn't go for Gen, though. It hit those guys again, which is fine. They're gonna get hit by... I mean, these guys probably get staggered and die, right? To the slash attack, yeah. They're not gonna survive the garden. The Garden of... No. Back going before... Otis is again for some reason. I don't get that. Tails, that's fine. We still do a lot of damage, right? Really, it's a shame that the rose color doesn't change based on the sin affinity, but neither does the skill, so that's how it goes, right? Yasunyaga. Get this Lust Fragility on this person who doesn't really matter that much. As we do. We got the full Lust Resonance, so we get the Lust power up next turn as well. And we're killing most of Jun's friends, if not all of them, so I think we're doing fine. Bonk. Cool looking E.G.O, really. It's the E.G.O I've trashed on since launch, but it's not like bad or anything. I just have trashed on it heavily, haven't I? Red Eyes also isn't a Threadspin 4, so it's only a 1 target instead of a 3 target, I think. Which is fine. We got the crit, which is funny. We did some dodging with Faust, which is also funny. And we get that Remise going. You're still fairly alive, but, that's how it goes, right? Sure, we do this. Do I? Do I commit? I should. No, I won't. 5 resonance is all we need, right?
좋겠네요.
We've got that, you know, lust power up, lust damage up this turn. We're set. Hey, wait, did Otis have 3 lust damage up? Does the Yasuo have a passive give her lust damage up or something? Kind of similar to like Ebony Stem's Pierce power up or something? I think Otis had 3 lust damage up instead of just the 2, but that's to be expected. You get countered a bit, you're fine though. I've learned my mistake from last time I got reissued by Jun and have not used Fluid Sac Florin to make her weak to Envy. Very big difference on my part, I'm sure. Get down you go, nice. Yeah, there we go. Or does Yasuo just give out lust damage after the self? I really don't know nearly well enough, do I, huh? A lot of stuff in this game I just do not know enough. I try knowing a lot, but there's just too much going on already. Started drinking lust damage. Okay, I gained 1 more when below 0 SP. Alright. That's good to know. Genuinely did not remember the passive of the E.G.O a lot. And it's Bob Bongi time, who is weak to lust and is weak to slash. And this is actually a pretty solid first turn, yeah. We actually don't need to use any other E.G.Os if we don't want to. We probably will, but I don't have to. Can do this on the scary attack. Could work well. We're gonna double up with it, which is funny. Red Eyes. We'll shake this guy to make sure it dies. I don't like you. We'll just dodge with you, yeah. That could work well. We're gonna double up in the Garden of Thorns, unless it instantly kills the bongies, which it might actually, think about it. We got tails, though. Maybe the bongies live. The heads could have been, you know, different, but we'll see. Oh, the crit. I don't think the bongies are very alive, yeah. Yeah, no. Well, that's fine. No commemorative coin value, but that's okay. It just means Gregor's sanity isn't down in the drain as fast, right? I also know that we didn't attack the chicken bucket, like, at all. I was kind of hoping the doubling up of the Garden of Thorns would do the job, but no. Only get to do that once, that's fine. And next turn. Maybe I should have used the maybe I should like red eyes the No, I should have had Dawn go for the hat bomb flush, and I probably should have shanked the actual chicken basket, because shanking the chicken basket basically instantly kills it. It's weak to pierce, it's weak to lust. It just checks out usually. That's fine. Chef, that guy is dead. Body is also almost dead. I think the burn staggered it potentially, yeah. Like, chicken bucket's doing stuff this turn, but we don't care that much. We kind of easily take care of it, right? So we easily take care of it. Yeah, there we go. We actually just need to shank it, think about it, yeah. The shank kills pretty easily. Otherwise, we just attack you a bunch. Everyone's got their lust damage up this turn. We're killing. We do a lot of damage to you. You should just kind of die. And we're using some non-lust attack, which is fine. I think, funnily enough, this attack probably just kills, doesn't it, Guardian? Yeah. So we killed with the non-lust attack, but it's the thought that counts. We did a lot of damage and stuff there, but that's also kind of basically the optimal boss you can fight with a lust team, right? Okay, next E.G.O gift time. We can get Grand Welcome. We probably will, because the other stuff doesn't appeal to me too much. Healing is nice, but it doesn't matter that much. Garden of Thorns also heals everyone, just a bunch. Not that necessary. Yeah, looks good. Yep. We press onwards. And yeah, we're just gonna continue on like normal.
효과적이네요. 이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어요. 보시다시피 앞에 무방비해진 개체가 있네요. 부디 그래선 안 되겠지만 이 틈을 놓친
Yeah, sorry about that. Silence was messaging a friend about the funny new E.G.O.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
방금 공격은 좋았어. 이대로만 계속해보면 좋을 텐데.
봤어요? 너무 쉽군요.
Yeah. Nice. Good stagger. And yeah, I mean, these guys aren't. They're not really standing much of a threat against us. Not that they were expected to, right? We keep on killing on.
긍정적인 변화네요.
Shank, I mean, yeah, this killed. It's Shank. That's what happens.
재밌네요.
이제 쓸만해졌군.
Actually, that reminds me. I need to take a look at the E.G.O again. Because, can it heal himself? Okay, good job done. You stabbed yourself with a sword when trying to dance. That fits. Oh, didn't mean to hit that, but that's fine. You were last place anyways. But yeah, Garden of Thorns. What was it? I forgot what I was just about to say. Actually, it's at any level +2, huh? Didn't it just say at any level +0 earlier? Maybe that's because I updated it. I don't know if that changed it. 4 allies. Okay, so he can heal himself. That's nice. And potentially doubling up on them? I think so.
맛있는 경험을 기대하지. 사실 이런 보모구실은 제가
Okay.
아니라 세피라드의
You
역할을
guys,
하죠.
we will slash you guys a little bit,
저는
as we do.
수십 명의 몫을
You're trying to dodge the Kalu, but it does not help you.
방금 건 제대로 된 공격이 아니었는데. 혹시
거기까지.
너희들 중에 매뉴얼을 제대로 안 읽고 온 사람들이 있는 걸까?
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는
재밌네요.
입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요. 알겠어. 비틀거리고 있는 개체가 보입니다. 이전까지 있었던 대부분의 관리자들은 이 타이밍에서 결정적인 인력을
Ah, you know what? Let's throw in the Asinata for the sake of it, right? Do a little more damage.
모든 업은 다시 돌아와. 네 머리 위에 내려질 것이다.
효과적이네요. 이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어요.
너, 맛, 취.
방금 공격은 좋았어. 이대로만 계속해보면 좋을 텐데.
모든 업은 다시 돌아와.
Well, she finds me back to and rests atop your head. I sure hope it does. Yeah, karma this girl. Karma her. She had it coming. Probably. I mean, yeah, Kurokuma's not the nicest people, so they kinda had it coming, right? I need to stop, like, going quiet when I'm recording these. Basically, anytime I go quiet for long since of time, either I'm spacing out or I'm just messaging someone, right? I'm just explaining, you know, how funny this E.G.O is to a friend right now. My friend who started the game relatively recently, just a couple months ago, because he just beat Ruina lately. I've mentioned plenty of his exploits over these daily mirror dungeons these past few months. It's been funny to, you know, witness someone going through all Ruina then Limbus.
집중해서 듣고 있었다는 결과겠죠. 이런 과정들을 통틀어 신뢰라고 부른다고 하더군요. 긍정적인
And we're
변화예요.
killing all these guys. That's good. There we go. Victory. Was there any more fights on this floor? There might have been like one more. I'm trying to remember, but I forget. I've been blanking out. Okay, no more fights. Double event. Okay, we'll take Green Spirit, I guess. We don't really need the healing. And there's the Black Ledger. Yippee. You will step forth. Does not matter. Take, you know, your... Oh, you passed this. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not you win or lose that one, so that's fine. One of you two probably... Oh, no, you did. You got this. Right. Honglu difference.
운은
Black
시작보다
Ledger earned, and there we
나빠지겠죠.
go. We get to go to the shop and see what we can get. Probably a skill change. Copying cranes does not matter at this point. Hate to say. Ryoshu gets another skill 3. That's actually pretty good. That's a really strong attack. So if we can just realistically get it earlier, then rather than later, that'd be nice. Anything we want to actually upgrade as far as gifts go? Probably not really, no. I just take like Pendant Nostalgia, a little more poise, I guess. Ashes, a little more burn, I guess. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. We're gonna be fine no matter what. That's the bull. Do we want to lust the bull to death? Probably not. We'll go for Kim. He's weak to slash after all, so it's pretty nice.
응원하는 게 도움이 되긴 하려나? 힘내긴 해보자고.
Not going the first. So that's fine. We can actually get you to double up anyways if we do it like this, right? Yeah. That's good. Red Eyes. Like 2 slash for the next turn if speed is lower than usual. Okay, that works too. Nice. That. Eyes. Shank. Dodges. We're probably not actually going to dodge though, yeah. No need to. We can just clash everything. I don't really want to risk the dodges. Okay, speaking of risking, okay, we're fine. Would have been a little rude if we failed that, but we're okay. We get Lust Resonance this turn, next turn. We get it twice this turn and next turn because of Commemorative Coin.
선물이라고 할 건 없고. 자, 이걸로 대신하지.
방금 공격은 좋았어. 이대로만 계속해보면 좋을 텐데.
선물이라고 할 건 없고. 자, 이걸로 대신하지.
I should have gone for the corrosion. You know what? Next turn I'll go for the corrosion. It'll probably kill our allies, but I'd really like to see it at least once, right? And it'll apply like the fragility and stuff. That's funny.
개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
I gotta use the corrosion at least once, even if it does corrode Gregor and kill all of our allies. Like, it's Kim. He's really not that hard of a fight, as long as you've got like at least a little bit of decent stuff, right?
재밌네요.
Did he have more HP than normal? I didn't take the HP increase thing, did I?
자, 맞서보죠.
No.
그들에게 이깟 하도
Did they buff his HP or something? I don't know. Observation level 5. What do you mean observation level 5? That's not how that used to work. I don't know what they're doing with the observation logs and stuff. Guess we'll see in time, but... Oh, we can double up on lifetimes too. That's a funny one to double up, and actually we gotta corrode it for the real funnies. Spend a bunch of lust and stuff, do a lot of damage. That sort of fun things. And we'll corrode this, potentially kill everyone. It costs 3 of every resource to corrode this god. We'll go for the full lust resonance again though, because, I mean, might as well, right? Double them lifetimes too. Who's the least likely to need to clash? You probably, yeah. Okay, we'll do this. See how well he's faring after this. We don't have contracts, so it won't blow up immediately, and you do have slash fragility this turn, which is nice. Double up on the stew. How much damage is it going to do? You do resist blunt. We actually crit with this, though. That's nice. 74 damage. Not bad for, you know, it's resisted. A fairly heavily resisted attack. I think you resist lust too, yeah? Probably. Probably why we're not doing too much damage. But that's fine. Oh, whoops. Just dropped my phone.
아니 그
Look, that was, never mind. Well, 9-2 is decent at least. Now, unfortunately, Lust Resonance just increases the attack weight of 9-2 and does nothing else for it. Against a single target enemy, that is not a very powerful effect, that's for sure. It's also not a very powerful ego in general. At least we turned, like, the little bit of burn he had into, a little bit of defense level down, right? That's something. And here's some Lust Fragility for you. It's 2 Lust Fragility, which means the rest of the attacks we've got going for you this turn do extra damage. So the Lust Fragility we actually inflict with, Corroded Garden of Thorns. Does it apply for 2 turns because we got the 6 Lust Resonance? It might.
이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어.
It very well might. We might also stagger you here.
너
Yeah, there we go.
まあ
Which means Kite can cook anything is doing a lot of damage. Yeah, a little bit. Shank is also going to do a lot of damage. I don't think it's quite enough to get the fourth coin. No, it isn't. Okay. Here's the corrosion. Nice. It did apply next turn too. Okay, that's good. Now you've corroded, so you're going to kill all of us. Oh, that's fine. It'd be like that sometimes. I can't blame you. And you've got a decent bit of lust fragility. Or you've got two... Oh wait, it's lust power down. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I know it's lust fragility, but I read the power down part. I thought it was just normal power down, but no, the corrosion actually applies power down of the respective sin affinity. Which is very funny, isn't it? Well, that's okay. Kim dies this turn. We might kill some of our allies this turn, but that's fine. It's funny, so I'm fine with it. Oh, you got that flame brand, so lust stuff inflicts a little bit of burn. Cool. One of those, you know, super mid-ego passives, as you'd expect. I mean, Crown of Thorns also has a... Or Garden of Thorns, God, also has a pretty awful ego passive, so that's fine. It's how it is sometimes. And here it goes. One more time, but this time against our allies. God, such a cool ego. Super glad we got it. I don't know how applicable it's going to be. This is going to be a very situational one. And it really depends on if we're going to get this, like, some sort of super big lust focus this season. Or this upcoming season. Which we might. I could definitely see it working out. And also if we get to the point where we can get, you know, 7 sinners on a team or something. It'll really work out then. If not, though, I mean, still seems super cool. Super good. He did a good amount of damage there. It also isn't, you know, insane against single target bosses, right? Kind of a big issue with multi-attack egos, but like the bull wouldn't have been a much better choice. The bull only has 2 parts once you hit like turn 4, assuming you've been winning flashes and stuff. Probably wouldn't have lived that long, or maybe it would have, but who's counting? That's level 1320. Let's go. That's more boxes. Nice to make up for the boxes I've spent today. Yahoo, 9 boxes. How's the number looking? 169, not too bad. I'll be able to get whatever comes next, of course. It's not really that. I really don't need to worry about that sort of stuff that much. Not doing great on shards. I've spent so much shards for Thread. Issue with, you know, Threadspin up tie 4. Not looking forward to Threadspin up tie 5, although I am really looking forward to it. Very cool ego. Very situational, yes. Kind of a insanely mid-passive. I don't really feel the need to run this guy in a Rupture team, but it's something. Corrosion also seems kind of worse than the Awakening. Especially if it's like, you know, same damage. Damage down bind. Fragility isn't as good as just giving power up to everyone, right? Power and damage up. But anyways, that'll be all for this time. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!